The train screeched to a halt with a thunderous clang, jarring Harry Dresden awake. He blinked in confusion, the remnants of strange, unsettling dreams fading into the back of his mind. For a moment, he wasn't sure where he was. The luxurious compartment, the deep crimson carpet beneath his feet, and the faint scent of ancient wood and spices in the air all felt surreal, as if he were still dreaming. But the excitement bubbling up inside him quickly reminded him that this was no dream. He was on the Arcanum Express, and ahead of him lay a new world, a world of magic. "Harry, we've arrived," Lyra's voice called from the corridor outside, her tone tinged with excitement. Harry stumbled to his feet, heart racing, and hurried to the window. The mist that had shrouded their journey had cleared, revealing a landscape that took his breath away. The train had come to a stop in the middle of a vast, misty valley, surrounded by towering mountains covered in thick, dark forests. The sky above was a deep shade of purple, tinged with the first light of dawn, and the air crackled with an energy that made Harry's skin tingle. But it was the sight in the distance that captured his attention. Perched high on a cliff, overlooking the valley like a sentinel, was a castle unlike any Harry had ever seen. Arcanum Academy. The castle's spires and towers pierced the sky, their stone walls gleaming in the morning light, as if woven from stardust and shadow. It was a structure of impossible architecture, where turrets twisted in ways that defied logic, and bridges arched gracefully between towers, suspended by nothing but air. The castle seemed to be alive, as if it were breathing with the magic that flowed through its very foundation. Magnificent, isn't it? Lyra's voice broke through Harry's awe as she appeared at his side, her eyes shining with excitement. "Yeah," Harry breathed, unable to tear his eyes away from the sight. "It's incredible." "This is only the beginning," Lyra said, nudging him playfully. "Come on, we need to get off the train. You don't want to be late for your first day, do you?" Harry shook his head, still dazed, and followed her out of the compartment. The corridors were bustling with other students, all chattering excitedly as they gathered their belongings and prepared to disembark. Harry felt a thrill of nervous anticipation as he joined them, the reality of his situation sinking in. He was about to enter a world where magic was real, where he would learn to harness powers beyond his wildest dreams. As they stepped off the train and onto the platform, Harry felt the cool, crisp air of the Highlands wash over him. It was refreshing, tinged with the scent of pine and earth. The platform itself was made of ancient stone, worn smooth by centuries of use, and surrounded by the towering trees of the enchanted forest that encircled the valley. Ahead of them, a grand staircase carved from the mountainside led up to the castle's entrance. The path was lined with flickering torches, their flames casting an eerie golden glow over the stone. Harry could feel the ancient magic that infused every stone, every tree, every blade of grass. It was as if the very earth was alive, humming with power. "Stick close to me," Lyra whispered as they began to ascend the stairs. "The academy can be a bit overwhelming at first." Harry nodded, though his gaze kept drifting toward the castle. As they climbed higher, the full scale of Arcanum Academy became more apparent. The castle was colossal, with sprawling courtyards, lush gardens, and towering spires that seemed to stretch endlessly into the sky. The closer they got, the more Harry noticed the strange and wondrous details. Statues of creatures that moved when you weren't looking, walls that shimmered with runes, and windows that reflected not just the outside world, but something otherworldly, something hidden just beyond the veil of reality. When they reached the top of the staircase, Harry found himself standing before a pair of massive, ornate doors made of dark oak and inlaid with gold. The doors were engraved with intricate symbols and patterns that seemed to shift and change as he looked at them, almost as if they were alive. Above the doors, carved into the stone archway, was a single word in an ancient script: Arcanum. With a creak that echoed through the courtyard, the doors slowly swung open, revealing a grand entrance hall beyond. The hall was vast, its high ceiling supported by towering columns carved with scenes of ancient battles and great magical feats. The floor was a mosaic of polished marble, depicting a massive compass rose that seemed to point in every direction at once. At the far end of the hall, a grand staircase curved upward, leading deeper into the heart of the castle. The hall was filled with students, some already gathered in groups, others exploring the hall in awe. Creatures that Harry had only heard of in myths and legends roamed freely among them. A griffin perched on one of the balconies, its golden feathers glinting in the light. A group of fairies flitting about, leaving trails of sparkling dust in their wake. And a massive, ghostly hound that padded silently across the floor, its eyes glowing with an eerie light. "Welcome to Arcanum Academy," Lyra said with a grin, her arms spread wide. "Your new home." Harry could only stare in amazement as he took in the sight. This place was like something out of a dream, a world so far removed from the cold, gray streets of London that it hardly seemed real. But before he could dwell on his thoughts, a voice echoed through the hall, a deep, resonant voice that commanded attention. "First years, gather around. It's time for the sorting." Harry turned to see a tall, imposing figure standing at the base of the grand staircase. The man was dressed in flowing robes of deep green, his silver hair pulled back into a neat ponytail. His sharp, angular features gave him an air of authority, but it was his eyes that caught Harry's attention. Piercing blue, like chips of ice, with an intensity that made Harry feel as if the man could see straight into his soul. "That's Professor Ethelwold," Lyra whispered, her tone reverent. "He's the headmaster of Arcanum Academy, one of the most powerful mages in the world." Harry nodded, swallowing hard as he followed Lyra toward the gathering crowd of first years. The excitement in the air was palpable, but so was the nervousness. The other first years looked just as awed and apprehensive as Harry felt. "Welcome, new students," Professor Ethelwold said, his voice carrying effortlessly across the hall. "You have been chosen to attend Arcanum Academy because you possess the potential to become great mages. But potential alone is not enough. Here you will learn to harness your powers, to control the forces of magic that flow through you. Some of you will rise to greatness, others may falter. But know this, you are all part of something greater now. The path ahead will not be easy, but it will be worth it." Harry felt a shiver run down his spine at the headmaster's words. There was a weight to them, a sense of foreboding that made the reality of his situation sink in even further. "Before you can begin your studies," Ethelwold continued, "you must be sorted into one of our 4 houses. Each house represents a different aspect of magic, a different path that you may follow. The house you are sorted into will be your family during your time here at Arcanum. You will live, study, and train with your housemates, and together you will face the challenges that lie ahead." With a wave of his hand, Ethelwold conjured 4 banners that unfurled from the ceiling, each representing one of the houses. The first was a banner of deep crimson, emblazoned with the image of a phoenix rising from the flames. The second was a banner of emerald green, bearing the symbol of a serpent coiled around a staff. The third was a banner of sapphire blue, with a majestic griffin spreading its wings. The final banner was a rich gold, depicting a fierce dragon with its claws outstretched. "Firewing," Ethelwold said, gesturing to the crimson banner. "The house of courage, determination, and passion. Those who seek to lead, who are driven by the fire within, will find their place here." He moved to the green banner. "Serpentis, the house of cunning, ambition, and intellect. Those who value knowledge and strategy, who are not afraid to walk the path of shadows, belong here." Next was the blue banner, Griffinclaw, the house of wisdom, creativity, and loyalty. Those who are guided by their ideals, who seek to understand the mysteries of the world, will find a home here. Finally, Ethelwold turned to the gold banner, Drakenheart, the house of strength, resilience, and honor. Those who stand firm in the face of adversity, who embrace their power and use it to protect others, belong here. The headmaster paused, his gaze sweeping over the assembled first years. "The sorting will now begin. Step forward when your name is called."